Good afternoon and welcome to part 2 of the orchard transformation. I'm starting it this afternoon because my garden gentleman who helps me out with the large scale projects in the garden, he's actually going to be here tomorrow, and I've kind of just been walking around and getting bits and pieces ready for him so we can kind of get in and hit the ground running. And so I thought I would give you a very quick update now, and then once he's been tomorrow, I will show you all the incredible things that we get done tomorrow. He is helping me out in the orchard, but there are a few other bits and pieces he's helping me with, so they will definitely also be, I probably won't show them in this video, I'll show them in a different video. But before I take you all the way over there, I did just very quickly want to kind of give this project a little bit of context. So I am located in Australia. I'm in the state of Queensland and my gardening zone is subtropical. So the orchard that I'm doing, it's kind of like, I think they term it like a micro orchard. I'm sort of mainly focusing on citrus trees because that is what suits my climate best, and also the types of fruits and vegetables, like, fruits in that I actually eat. So as you can see, if you watched part 1 of this series, and if you didn't watch part 1, I highly recommend watching part 1 because I'm not going to reiterate all the stuff that I've mentioned in part 1. I don't want to be repeating myself. So yeah, definitely watch part 1 first. But if you watch part 1, you will obviously notice that the citrus trees are all still here. These will all get transplanted tomorrow, so I will definitely show that to you. But yes, so I just wanted to kind of clarify my growing zone, where I'm located, just in the event that this sparks some inspiration for you, just so you can kind of get an idea and kind of compare it to your own gardening zone, as to whether or not this particular setup is possible for you. Obviously, depending on where you are located, you could pick different, fruit trees and things, more stone fruits, apples, pears, that sort of thing. That just does not do well here for me. The other little thing that I do kind of just want to mention to you is I am very much a novice gardener. Okay, I'm not an expert. I am learning as I go, and everything that I do and everything that I share with you is just things that I'm experimenting with. They're things that bring me a lot of joy, and that, if they're successful, I'm going to get so much, pleasure and happiness out of within the garden itself. So I just wanted to confirm that that's all, that I'm no expert. I am completely an amateur. I am wanting to kind of share this with you all in the event that you're in a similar boat and you're wanting that inspiration or that bit of incentive, even if you're not an expert gardener, to be able to try to tackle these sorts of projects. The other thing I will mention is I'm not on acreage. I just have a very sort of small back cottage garden along with a few side gardens and a front garden. And I'm just kind of working at making my space as beautiful and practical as possible as it suits me, for me. So in saying all of that, there is definitely going to be some wins and some wobbles in this particular project, but I do want to share all of that with you, and I think that that's really important, to share the things that work incredibly well and the things that maybe don't. So without further ado, I wanted to show you one of the things that happened today. Was this little pathway has started to come in. Again, if you watch part 1, this will have made more sense, but this is going to be the pathway into the orchard. So when my garden gentleman, his name is Russell, so when Russell is here tomorrow, he's actually going to take out a few branches from this night jasmine, if I move over here, just to open up that pathway, and then I'll be getting stepping stones to kind of trail through along into the orchard area. So that will happen today, and I am unbelievably happy with how that's looking. I didn't want anything too set as a pathway. I really wanted sort of a wild, whimsical, almost like little secret pathway in the garden bed. So I'm leaving all of these sort of trees quite close, and there are just going to be some tastefully placed stepping stones through there. And I just think, I think that'll be very sweet once it's done. and yeah, just give some easier access into the orchard area, given that I no doubt will have to be going there quite often. The other thing that has been happening today is just kind of considering options for irrigation. All of these beds here all have irrigation throughout. The orchard area does not, so I'm kind of just considering my options and considering whether I need to maybe bring in a bit of an expert in irrigation to help me put in potentially like isolator valves and that. So we'll definitely wait. We'll see how it all goes. But yes, so that is one quite large development today. Those plants have all been relocated elsewhere in the garden, and you'll no doubt see that in the next garden tour video, which may actually be this week. Oh yes, it probably will be this week. I think you'll be watching this on a Wednesday, and then on Friday I think I might try and do like a end of September, early October garden tour. Oh my goodness, please subscribe for that. There have been so many developments in the garden. I think you are going to love it. Having a walk around and just seeing everything that has changed over just the last, couple of weeks. Yeah, anywho, so that has happened today. And then if I just walk around, sorry, I've been out here watering and fertilizing and that's why there's all water everywhere. I've got this little area here set up, ready to go. So all of these plants are going to be going into the orchard area there. I've got all of my sort of soils and bits and pieces ready to go for roses, general sort of organic potting soil, as well as citrus and fruit tree mix, just to give all of the transplanted trees the best chance possible. There is, again, if you've been subscribed for a while, you will definitely know that I hit the garden centre and picked up quite a number of lavender plants. The bees actually today discovered these plants, and so they have been covered in bees for most of the day, which makes me so happy. You all know I have my own adopted beehive here with Australian native bees, but obviously I'm also getting honeybees in that as well. So you can just see there one little late evening bee on the, I'm pretty sure that is the powder puff perfection, that pink flower there. Look at him. But yes, they've been covered in bees all day, which is so lovely. So yes, all of this is going to end up in here. So just to sort of show you for the last time, it is actually quite late in the afternoon, early evening at the moment. So thus it all being in shade, the sun is about to go down. But yeah, so this is the last little looks, and you may notice there are some additional little stakes here. But yeah, last looks there as to how it currently looks. I've done a few additional measurements today. I will actually get my tape measure out and measure the space exactly for you, just so you can kind of see the size that I'm working with. This is, I mean, it's not a, really small space, but it's not a massive space either. I don't have acreage or anything, so yeah, I will actually, I will do that. I'll do that later on in this video. I'll get the tape measure and I will measure out the space. I'm probably only kind of doing the orchard to this area here. That down there is actually the sort of bottom of my property, and it slopes right down, and so the water can sometimes pool there. So I'm just kind of steering clear of that area in terms of planting trees. So I'll kind of measure from this sort of line here all the way kind of up and across, and I'll give you those dimensions again just so you've got a frame of reference as to the space that I'm working with. But yeah, this is last looks. This is the last time that it will look like this. And I do want to just stress, plants will be going in tomorrow, so it won't look like this. There is definitely going to be movement in planting and all of that tomorrow, which I will share with you. But this sort of orchard transformation is probably going to be over a couple of weeks, and I no doubt will be in multiple parts. So if this is something you're interested in, I highly recommend that you subscribe just so that you're notified when the new videos go up and you can kind of follow along with the journey. I've been doing so much research. I've got so many kind of inspiration pictures for this space, and I think in the coming sort of weeks, months, I'm going to turn it into something really lovely. And as I said earlier, there are going to be some incredible wins, I hope, but I imagine there'll also be some wobbles, which is just part and parcel of gardening. You know, sometimes things just don't work, particularly the fruit trees. Transplanting my sort of established fruit trees is a bit of a risk, but I just think they're not doing well where they currently are. So best to try and transplant the ones I already have instead of buying all brand new ones. So anyway, that is going to be all from me this evening, and I will come back on tomorrow. I'm not going to film anything while Russell is here, just for his own privacy, and you know, he's just going to be getting his head down, getting stuck in and getting these bits and pieces done. He does not want a camera in his face doing that. So once he has done his bit, I'll definitely come on and show you at that point, and then we can kind of do the other sort of planning and bits and pieces together. So I will see you tomorrow. Good morning. Just before I begin, the jasmine here is in flower, and the smell of that jasmine this morning, oh, it is intoxicating. It literally is perfuming this entire backyard at the moment. Oh, the smell is just delicious. It is quite early in the morning, actually. It's probably before 7 o'clock. But I was so excited to share the orchard progress with you. I pretty much had to come out straight away. So Russell has come and gone, and would you believe he came in the morning, and then it absolutely bucketed down with rain, which was so good for the newly transplanted plants. And so today is sort of the first opportunity I've had to kind of get out there and share it with you. You can see down here, the sun is just starting to come up over the mountains. The birds are a twitter, and oh, I'm just so excited. I'm so excited for you to see how it is transformed already. There is still so much to happen, so much kind of to come, but already I am just so happy with it. So let's head down to our little secret orchard entryway, and I will show you what has been happening. So I thought I would just start here. So this is the little walkway. You can see we've popped the stepping stones in, and I actually like how kind of wild and wonderful it is, having all the plants sort of right there on the, quite close to the stepping stones. I didn't want a really large pathway. I really wanted it to feel as if, you know, you were stepping into a secret garden kind of a vibe. So I'm over the moon with that, and as you can see, we've taken off several of the really thick night jasmine trunks there, just to make sure we can kind of get in through the entryway. But let's head in. All the plants are covered with dew at the moment, because as I said, it is still quite early. So yes, this is the entryway here. That is the night jasmine. I definitely think I'm going to have to put just something in here, a little something, just to kind of fill in. We've got the temple bells here, which I will show you probably a lot more in Friday's video. I think I had said on Friday I was going to do a cottage garden tour, but I've changed my mind. In transplanting these fruit trees, a couple of the garden beds got a little bit destroyed, which is completely understandable. and so I'm really keen to plant them up. So I thought on Friday we would spend the day in the garden, kind of setting it to rights and getting everything planted up. And there's a few just incredible developments that cannot wait for a full garden tour, so I'll share them with you on Friday. But back to the orchard. So this is the little entryway here. Very happy with how that has turned out. And then kind of just stepping into this orchard space. So I might start on this side here. So again, remembering what it looked like before. Obviously, it is going to take time for everything to kind of flush out and get settled into their spaces. But so far, and I've also just got a hose here because I'm really trying to baby these plants and just keep up the water and keep them really happy in their new locations. I am investigating options for running irrigation down here, so that will definitely be coming in a future video, no doubt. But for now, I've just got the hose and I'm just babying all the plants here. So first things first, we have planted, or Russell I should say, has planted one of the lavenders. So this one here was the one I showed you. It was quite a large bush and it had sort of the white and purple. Well, as the flowers have sort of aged, you can see they've gone to that really beautiful soft purple color. Now, the poor little lavender is covered in morning dew, so it's still a little bit sort of slumped down, a little bit on the ends here. You can already see that it's starting to kind of perk back up. Obviously, all of the stakes in that are still in. I haven't even had a chance to remove all of those yet. So all of this will come in a further video. But so that lavender there is hopefully going to be very happy and is going to fill out this space. So it gets about 1 meter by 1 meter. So it should be a really good filler plant in years to come in this location. During a Washington Navel Orange, I have to say, I am so surprised with how well it has transplanted. Actually, let me back up. I do want to just very quickly explain. So when we put this one in the ground, we did actually, so obviously we dug a hole and we did add the organic potting soil in the hole, and then we popped the lavender in. Just the potting soil, just add a little bit more nutrients to the soil here. The soil here it hasn't been used in a really long time, so I'm just wanting to give the plants the best chance. So yeah, added some organic garden soil into this hole before it was planted. And then moving on to the mandarin. So this mandarin here gave Russell the most trouble. If I just crouch down and show you, look at how big and wide that trunk is. Its root system was massive, and it had, you'll see it in Friday's video when I show you the garden beds. The roots had gone up under the concrete pathways, and he did the most phenomenal job of extracting the largest root ball humanly possible. So from where they were located, he dug them out and, as I said, tried to maintain as many of the roots as possible and really tried to keep that root ball intact. And then we brought them over here. He obviously dug quite a large hole and he put the citrus and fruit tree soil in the hole and then planted it in. Again, the same as with the lavender here, just because the citrus and fruit trees potting soil had those additional nutrients, and we really just want to give these fruit trees the best shot to settle into their new place, because it is quite late for us to be doing this. So we've got one of the Washington Navel Oranges there, and then this one here is the new Washington Navel that we purchased. So this one didn't have to be transplanted, it just came out of a pot. So that is there. They are all dwarf citrus trees. So all the plants, all the fruit trees in this area are dwarf size. You can see here, it's got the little flowers starting. So yes, sorry, all the fruit trees are dwarf. So this is very much like a little mini or a micro orchard. So we've got that one there. This is the lemon tree. Now, Surprisingly, I actually thought this one would be maybe like the tough. Yes, sorry, I am still in a bathrobe. It is 6:30 in the morning, and it's very, very cold out here. This one here actually has struggled the most. You can sort of see the leaves looking a little bit sad. So fingers crossed that the lemon tree makes it. I've had this lemon tree for a very, very long time now. And yeah, I hope that it will kind of stabilize a little bit and adapt to its new home. But obviously it's been a little bit traumatized, so it can be forgiven for yeah, being a little bit droopy at this stage, but I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it and seeing how it goes. So that is the lemon tree. Again, we use the citrus potting soil. The other Washington navel orange, oh no, sorry, I lie. That is the seedless mandarin tree. I only have one seedless mandarin, and that is this one here. And then just over here is the last Washington navel orange. And then just down the slope here, this one here and this one here are cascade lily pillies. So again, hoping that they're going to add a lot of color and height into this back corner here. They don't look like much now, but in years to come, they will be absolutely gorgeous here. So that is those. Cut flower garden is going to go in here, but we will do that together in a future video. And then this is the peach tree. So it's the only stone fruit that I have. And I have to say, this was the one that probably worried me the most. She had already started to flower. You can see she's got flowers on there, and you can see some little petals have dropped off. But peach trees go dormant for winter, so it would have been much more preferable if I had moved her probably about a month ago when it was winter and she was still dormant. But as you can see, she is flushed out with her leaves. She has flowers. It just, yeah, I moved her a little bit too late, unfortunately. However, in saying that, she's very happy. No drooping leaves. She seems to have handled the move remarkably well. I will say I am completely expecting to not get any fruit this year, which, you know, completely understandable. But so far, so good. So that is a little peach tree there. And then the other thing that Russell had time to do for me, which was very, very kind, is plant up the wild climbing roses. So we've got one here. So you can see this is the yellow variety, and I'll show you better on the other one. So I've just got these honeycomb trellises here, and eventually they'll kind of climb up onto it. But let me show you the other one. It's just a bit easier for me to access. This one has just been, they have been sort of stationed around the potting shed nursery side of the garden, and they have been there for probably about a month and a half, and this one has grown so much. She is just chomping at the bit to get settled. So again, we just use that organic potting soil in there. And then just to show you, so these are the white Banksia roses, climbing roses. This is, yes, as I said, white. The other one over there is the yellow. But, oh, Mr. Moth, can you see the moth? Oh, we'll work around him. So need full sun, they're great. Oh, there we go. Sorry, Mr. Moth. Mulch well. They're pretty much thornless. They've got a gorgeous scent, cut flowers. And then you can see there, they're a tall, growing, vigorous, semi-evergreen climber, low maintenance, double white rosette-like flowers, a delicate fragrance. Now, I Googled, it doesn't actually say it on here, but I'm pretty sure I Googled these roses. And as it says, they are vigorous climbers. So they can almost get to like 6 meters. So my long-term plan Once they've kind of filled here, and we'll sort of get them over to this other side, and they've sort of filled out the back of this here and created a bit of like a green wall along this space, what I will do is probably start to trail them around onto this back fence, just to kind of continue that green wall kind of look, in the hope that eventually we would have a gorgeous wall here that's sort of green year round, but then obviously has those gorgeous double blooms in white and yellow, and then we'll have the cut flower garden here. So that is long-term plans. But when I tell you, it's almost like words can't express it, how happy this has made me. It's actually quite, yeah, it has brought me so much joy, and just, yeah, it's made me so unbelievably happy. Having this space, having all the greenery down here, I can see this space from the house. So, I mean, as you saw earlier in this video, it was just such an unloved, unused space, and making it into something so beautiful, and something that, you know, is usable, and hopefully I'll get fruit in years to come here. It's going to be great for the pollinators. It has just brought me so much happiness and joy. I just cannot even. I know I've said it so many times how excited I am about it and all that, but I truly am. Like, it's just, you know, I don't know if you know what I mean when I say this. It's like it's made my heart happy. But yeah. Anyway, so that is where we are at. If I pan up a little bit here, you'll see all of these plants here. All of these plants are to come in here. So we will definitely be doing all of that together. I want to get all the stakes. Anyway, there's lots more work to go in the transformation in this area. So I really do hope you have been enjoying kind of coming along with me and seeing it go from, you know, a bare, unloved area of the garden into even just this at this point. I mean, this is only part 2. There are definitely going to be several more parts to come. So maybe next week we will kind of go on to part 3, and we'll get some planting done. We'll get the fencing in for the cut flower garden. And yeah, we're just going to continue working together to transform this space. So I truly, truly hope you will join me for that, and you will subscribe. Subscribing is free for you to do. It just means you'll get notification when new videos go up, and, you know, all the transformation videos, all my adventures and that. You can kind of join me and join my little YouTube community. And yes, so that is probably going to be it for this video. As I said, Russell did an unbelievably phenomenal job in transplanting this. I could never have done what he did. I never could have dug the holes big enough to preserve the root balls the way that he did. So yeah, phenomenal work. I am so unbelievably lucky to have him. And you know that he's so kind to come out and help me with all of my crazy projects and things. He had a good laugh when I gave him, you know, when I ran through my list of things. He actually did a number of other things for me while he's here, but I will reveal all of that in future videos. So yes, I'm going to leave this video here, and then, as I was saying, on Friday, what I would like to do is probably just start to set the cottage garden to rights. While obviously he did a phenomenal job, understandably, removing trees this size and removing roots this size has kind of created a bit of chaos in the cottage garden area. So I'd really like to kind of set that to rights. So I think we're going to do that on Friday together. I've got lots of plants to go in, so we'll kind of talk through the process, talk through the laying out process, and kind of get everything in and settled in the cottage garden on Friday. And then maybe next Wednesday, we will come back for part 3 of the transformation project in here. And we'll start to, I really need to get like a steel rake or something in here. I don't know if it comes across on camera, but there's lots of like large branches and things. So I really need to have a good cleanup in here. I want to get all the other plants in. I want to get the fencing in for the cut flowers. There's a lot to do. And I'm keen to do that. So maybe we'll try and do that next week. So that is going to be all from me today. let me know your thoughts, please, in the comments. Let me know what you think of this space. Let me know how you think it is looking. As I said, I personally am just over the moon. I can see it in my mind and how it's going to look in probably another month or so once we get all the chip bark down, and just I've actually saved the before photos, so you know, as we kind of get to the conclusion of this project, I'll be able to show you the before and then the end result. And I think that that is going to be such incredible photos to see. And, you know, we've done it, you know, you've seen me do it, we've done it together. Oh, before I go, the last thing I wanted to say, I promised that I would take a tape measure down here and I would measure the space, just in case you were curious as to what size I'm working for. This is very much a micro orchard, mini orchard, whatever you'd like to call it. So I did take a tape measure. It is this is very rough. It is 4 meters. I didn't go all the way to the end of the property. I kind of went to this line here where the Cascade lily pillies are, and it kind of does taper in. It's wider at the back than it is towards so behind me to the sun deck. So from this back fence, it's 4 meters, and then this way it is 6 meters. And then from here, this is the sun deck here, you can see it kind of tapers in a little bit, and we've sort of got a little tree here, but it's much narrower on this side. So that's the space I'm working with. So just in case this has inspired you to plant your own sort of little mini orchard, that's, yeah, I don't have acreage or anything. I've got a very sort of well, it's obviously not a very small space, but it's not an acre of space for fruit trees. I just selected all dwarf varieties, and they should be very happy in here, hopefully. All right, I'm going to bid you farewell, and I will see you on Friday when we get absolutely stuck into setting the cottage garden to rights. See you then. Bye.